to another Loom Press podcast. We are today with Sandra Behan, a poet from the Stole?
Dublin.
From Dublin. Yeah. I don't know why. Sorry, what a start. Sorry, the Stole. Welcome, Sandra. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Not too bad at all.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
You were in hospital there a couple of weeks ago, but
I'm just getting over pneumonia, so I'm a little bit dodgy here, but I'll do my best. Yeah, just recovering from pneumonia.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, it's great to have you on anyway. How's 2026? Well, I suppose apart from the 2026 is treating you well anyway, mostly anyway.
Just moved into a new house, so I'm really happy with that. So yeah, it's good. It's good. All good. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we're here today to talk about Unveiled, and I presume that's you on the cover.
That is me down in Glenveigh in Donegal.
Donegal, yeah. Glenveigh's wonderful. I was there actually.
Yeah.
There's a lovely castle there as well.
Yeah,
lovely little book. I'll just read the blurb on the back for our listeners. So, in this, her debut collection, poet Sandra Behan succeeds in viewing the personal through the prism of evocative imagery. Remarkably varied, Unveiled includes personal reflections on relationships, thoughtful musings on topical issues, and warm recollections of childhood and family. And it definitely is, there's a bit of everything, something for everyone in the collection. So tell us a bit about this. So am I right in saying that? So this came out in 2023?
September last year.
September.
Yeah, it was published September. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
2025. Yeah.
But am I right in saying it began in 2008, the journey?
The journey in the Stole began in 2008. That's when I started to take writing seriously, and they nurtured me since 2008 in the Stole Writers Week and the storytelling event. So yeah, I've been writing even as a child, poetry and things like that. But I did a course in NUI Maynooth in 2010, writing for publication, and I enjoyed that as well. So that was kind of when I started to take it a bit more serious. But I thought I was going to be writing short stories, but the poetry just called me. Just
speaks to the soul. That's it.
Yeah.
Very good. So yeah, I suppose tell us a bit about yourself then, Sandra.
Okay, well, the reason I write poetry is because I have an eye condition called keratoconus in both eyes, and I'm afraid of losing my sight. My grandfather lost his sight completely, and I've had a corneal transplant in one eye and numerous surgeries, and there's always the fear that I'm going to lose. Even my house move is based on I can get a train from where I'm living now if I lose my car. So I wanted to write poetry from the perspective of someone that can't see. So I wanted to. I do a lot of traveling around. I do hiking. I do cycling all the greenways. I learn. I do the history of an area as well. So I try to learn as much as I can about an area or a place that I'm visiting, and then I try to write it in such a way that you can see it. You know, if you were blind, you can imagine it.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I feel so passionate about writing.
Yeah.
Because I want to reach somebody that might be able to see it.
Yeah. I remember we were texting before this meeting, and you'd mentioned the keratoconus, which was a big surprise because it's actually a condition I have myself.
Which is unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it seems to affect a lot more people than you think. I remember talking to Dara Fleming, who's another poet, and he was in Kilcock at the time, and when I was describing my condition, he was like, "Have you got keratoconus?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I've got that as well." And I was like, "Oh my God!" So it seems to be affecting poets around the country.
It's a hidden disability.
Yeah.
We hide it.
It creeps up in it because I thought it was actually my glass. I thought I went to Specsavers and I was thinking, "Geez, these are crap." I was like, and they were new, and when you put on new glasses and you're like, "Wow." But they were lacking that wow, and I was like, oh my God. And then I went to get checked, and they were like, oh, you've got keratoconus, and they were talking about eye surgeries and stuff, and
it's not nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no way. And they were like, well, look, you could lose your vision. So thankfully they done a cross-linking procedure, and hopefully that'll, keep it at bay. But
There's loads they can do now. Yeah, it's very
yeah,
important to just keep getting checked and keep any changes. I lost the sight in one eye overnight, literally overnight. Yeah, it was fine for years, and then it went overnight.
Yeah.
And
how are
then
your eyes now? Like you can see.
they're really good now. I can drive and everything now. There was times when I was close to not driving. They're very good at the moment, but it changes. It can be, you don't know when it's going to change, and I have special glasses for cycling, special glasses for hiking, special glasses for driving, different color glasses, different, and then you have to wear glasses for the glare all the time. So it changes if you're tired, or if you're not well, or your immunity's down, lots of things can affect it, so it has to be watched at all times, and keep on top of it.
Absolutely. Well, look, at the risk of this becoming a sort of an optician
Yes,
podcast,
let's move on. Yeah,
we'll move on.
yeah.
So, well, I suppose that was gonna one of my questions as well. I was gonna ask your poetic vision, but I suppose you've actually answered that in a way, because you said at the risk of losing your eyesight, you wanted to capture sort of the beauty of nature and all those things, and especially for people that maybe are impaired with their vision. But I suppose, yeah. So you're from Dublin, but tell me, how did you get wrapped up with Listow and Leo?
I met a man. First of all, my friend and I went down to Leo Cullen. The first time I went to Listowel, I didn't know anything about what's going on around Listowel, because my friend and I went down. We went to a workshop with Leo Cullen, and we just used to go home after the workshop, and we didn't know there was a whole life going on there. So then I met a man, and I told him I was passionate about writing. And from our first time together, he bought me a Valentine present of a workshop in Listowel, and the whole week in Writers' Week.
Wow.
And that's kind of going back to 2008. And we've gone every single year since, except for the COVID year, which we did online.
Yeah.
And amazing people, just amazing people. Yeah. And I've grown down there. I didn't want to go anywhere else. Nobody knew me down there, so I could, say what I liked. It was a very slow process. It took me 2 years to write my first poem. Wow. And I used to shake and terrified, but eventually I started to write more and more, and now they can't stop me.
Yeah, once you get a taste for it. That's a very thoughtful gift to get your partner, a writing weekend away. Yeah, and obviously, look what happened. Are you going down again this Valentine's Day?
It's June. I go, but the present was for Valentine's Day. I go down. I was there 5 times last year. So I now go to a storytelling event in September, the Writers' Week in June. But people have passed away that I've got to know, and I've gone down to funerals, and I've gone down. We actually went down, instead down there to the Greenway down there. So I find myself going more and more. There's a 70th birthday in John B. Keane's pub, and I went down for the 70th birthday in John B. Keane's pub as well. Any excuse, really.
Yeah, well, of course, he was from there as well. Yeah,
and Mickey McConnell passed away, his singer down there. I was very fond of going down for the funeral for that as well. Yeah. So,
very good. And I suppose that brings me as well to another question. But so you don't seem tied down to any one area. Like when you're reading this, I was trying to think. Geez, you got Donegal, you have Bulbin, Wicklow. Because I know a lot of poets attach themselves to maybe particular places. Like Patrick Kavanagh with Monaghan and maybe Seamus Heaney with the North. But you seem to be a woman of Ireland. A woman of everywhere. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I have a bunch of friends and we hike. So like I cycle now as well, but we hike. So we might decide Kerry this year, and we would hike. We would actually go from one mountain to the other and have our bags brought along for us. So we've done the whole Kerry thing, and then we got fed up with all that traveling. So now what we do is we go 3 times to an area. So we went down to Donegal, the explosion that was there that recently.
The garage.
We got caught up in that we were in now that shop all the time and got to know the people, but we got really hooked on that mountain, Muckish Mountain. And we asked locally, and we got a video that was done of all the miners and everything. And I just went and did a poem called Miners Week, and it's actually a story now as well on writing.ie, and got into the whole mining thing, and put it into poetry and hyped it as well. And then I wrote poems for the I can't think of the name of that event. That remember the 10 red candles that they had for those people that died. And Donegal contacted me. They were starting a poetry website and asked me would I like to put some of my poems into it. So I got involved that way as well, where my poems all about the explosion ended up going onto their site. We love Donegal.
Where was that area? Jeez, it was only about
Priestlock.
Yeah.
So we were down the week before, about 2 weeks before the explosion, and that was a local shop, and we're in there every day, and we got to know people. We used to have a 99. If we did a hike, we would reward ourselves with the 99. So the last time I was in there was 2 weeks before that explosion, and the last thing we had was a 99. So we had gone and booked a return visit about 2 weeks after the explosion. So we ended up back down there, and it was just surreal, the whole thing. Went to all the masses and, got involved in the community. Knew a couple of people actually that were involved in it, actually. Somebody that lived in the apartment and somebody that worked in the shop. And it just was unbelievable, the feeling when we went back down the second time. And I found myself writing about it a lot. And then the poems were picked up for We Love Donegal. It's on their website.
Yeah.
So that's just Donegal. But then we'd go, another time we might go to Wicklow, and I got involved down there with Glen Malure. My aunt is related. And I started reading poetry for their 100 Lights. And at their Heritage Day at the hostel. And I've been doing that every year for about 4 or 5 years as well.
What is the 100 Lights?
So basically, all the people were working on the crusher houses years ago. The miners were down there. It was a different kind of miner. And I was asked to write a poem about the crusher house. And my grandson then was working on the second crusher house. He does stonemason. So I was involved from my grandson, and then my aunt lived down there, and there was a book wrote, and she was in the book. So I found I was connected, even though I didn't realize it. So I was kind of accepted then, and they bring me down every year to do to write or read, for those two events down in Glenmalure. Yeah. There's a whole history of miners there and working on the crusher houses, and they went to mass. The 100 Lights there was two groups of people that went to mass on Christmas morning, and they walked across the Avonbeg River. Some went to Protestants, some were Catholics. So that's kind of the story of them all going to mass. And they've had tea lights. So there's all tea lights along the track. So every year they put all these tea lights, and we walk that walk. And then there's 3 poets down there at different places on the way, and I'm one of them. And it's a beautiful event. We've just done it there in December. So they're about to publish a little book as well that I've been put into. I never looked to get published. It happens. It
happens, yeah.
It just happens.
Maybe you put yourself out to the universe, and the universe, helps you out. I suppose, yeah. Very good. It is there's signed people in Donegal. It's a wonderful place, when
fabulous.
I have my partner's from there. Our plan is to move there very soon. We're based in Maynooth at the moment, but it is a nice place. There is a lovely poem actually that struck me from Donegal, from the collection here. Tramore Beach.
Tramore Beach, yeah.
Page 18. Would you like to read that poem actually for us?
I don't think I've ever read that one, but I will.
Yeah. When I saw Tramore, I thought it was Tramore in Waterford.
Yeah. No, it's down there on the beach. And this was, I used to get up every morning for the sunrises, and we'd walk. I stay in Donegal Boardwalk Resort, and we'd walk the boardwalk, and this is literally what was on the boardwalk one morning. So, Tramore Beach. In Donegal, where land meets sea, I stand at the world's edge. The shoreline stretches like a promise, soft sands beneath my bare feet, each grain a memory of past times. Mountains rise, rugged and strong. Muckish watches from afar. The air rich with salt and peat carries old stories in the wind. Waves crash steady and rhythmic, singing songs of freedom. I breathe the sharp, briny air, feel the sun's warmth, reminded that I belong here. Meadow blooms unfurl in bright colours, reds, yellows and purples against green. Their sweet scent mingles with earth, each petal a burst of life, each breeze a call to be. Time lingers on the boardwalk, foam curls at my side. Thoughts rise and fade with the tide. The wind whispers, remember, create, dream. In Donegal, beauty is felt. A quiet awakening stirs my soul. In this vastness, I am small yet significant, held by nature, where worries dissolve like dawn mist.
Wonderful, yeah. Yeah, the nature is the great teacher, as they say, you know. It's endlessly inspiring. Why did you call the collection Unveiled? What is being unveiled?
My poetry, because I find it very hard to publish poetry. So I've been I've my private pages, and there's nothing public. There was Instagram. I suppose the most stuff that got published was through Writers' Week, because they were picked up by Kerry's Writers' Museum or John B. Keane's pub or whatever. But I've never actually, I suppose I didn't believe myself as a poet, to be honest. And they're just my words, my feelings on pages. And because you're writing about your life and what you see and what's around you, I find people sometimes think you're writing about them, when in fact you're writing about how you feel about different situations. So Unveiling was me being really, really brave. There was 95 poems in this collection, and I found I couldn't publish 35 of them, in case somebody, or about 30 of them, in case somebody was offended or somebody seen themselves in a poem or remembered an occasion that I wrote about. So I was really, really careful with this collection. It's actually not an honest collection. It's a careful collection of poetry.
Do you regret putting those poems out?
No, not one.
No.
But then, as I say, they were careful.
Careful.
Yeah.
When you see, like, who was it that said, I can't remember who it was, but it was a famous quote that people should write dangerously. Do you believe that a writer should write dangerously?
I think you should be able to write anything you want to write. But then I'm not that brave.
Not that
so
brave.
I'm saying that I don't want to offend either.
Yeah.
You know, things that might have a ripple effect with someone else. I don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of my stuff is not about me. It comes to me from every direction, and people think they're personal when they're not personal. You know.
Well, I suppose if you're writing about things that might be seen as contentious, I suppose there's the intention behind it, and like I suppose what are you intending with it? So if you can write about, I suppose, maybe challenging topics or troubling things, but maybe as a way to, in a cathartic way, to help not only yourself but maybe I suppose have others relate to what you're writing about as well. Even if you know you might the poem might upset someone. Is there a sort of a duty though for the poet to wrangle with those difficult topics, do you think? Even if
yes,
you risk.
Because,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think yes, because a lot of people have found I write a poem about something completely different, and someone reads it and say, "Oh my God, that's my dad," or you know, "That's my mum and dad. They loved each other, but they weren't that close." Or somebody said that to me recently, and I can't believe what they get out of a poem. Like it could be about. I wrote a poem about Ashley Murphy, and someone thought it was someone I knew, and I wrote about a suicide across my job that I watched one day, Mackin Street. It's in that, I think. But I didn't know the bloke, but the publisher said, "Can you tell us more?" I said, "No." I said, "Complete stranger. I was watching it from across the road." So even though I'm writing about subjects like suicide and, you know, there's a court scene there, murder, it's called Justice. Now that poem is the poem I spent 2 years writing. So think about that, but no one died. Nobody. So there's ways to write different, there's ways to write something completely different and still get what you need to get out there.
Yeah. disguise it, sort of maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
I suppose the thing is when you write something and put it out to the world, it's almost like you cut off the umbilical cord, and it's like sending a child out into the world, and you can't always protect them, and people will interpret it as they will, and even if it's not what you intended at all. But I suppose
Yeah.
that's part of the beauty of writing in general, and I suppose different interpretations should be welcomed. But it's yeah.
I only recently accepted this book as okay. When I was in hospital recently, I was in isolation, and I read the whole book again. I knew I was going to be you were going to talk to me, and I said, you know what, it's okay. I'm happy with it, and that's the first time I've actually accepted that it's good enough to be out there.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to accept that they're okay to be out there, and I do now, and I'm going to move on to the next thing I'm going to do shortly, and do a few little edits on that. But other than that, like it's fine.
Will your next book be less cautious?
The next book is a novel. And oh God, it's very interesting because my grandson is very involved in this, in the sense that it's not about him, but he helped me a lot because it's about someone when he was 15. So it's about, I won't go into big detail, but basically somebody has a minor surgery and ends up with a brain injury. And me and him have worked together helping children through respite, through the Order of Malta, who have disabilities. So he has helped people of that age, of his own age group. And the story is basically what I know from that and what I know from him. So he's given me a lot of him in the book, but it's not a true story. So again, it's fictional, and but it's a lovely story. It's a lovely story. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be called Daniel.
Yeah, I suppose it's people draw from their experiences. It's like John B. Keane with Sive. He was an old man in his locality that he helped to pick out a ring. He did, but I don't think he realized that this old man was marrying this young woman, but she ended up being institutionalized. She was kind of forced into the marriage, and like he drew from that experience, and he didn't hold back, I suppose, in showing how this wasn't right. Yeah, and I don't know if the man was still alive by the time he released it, but it does sound like a very interesting book to explore. So I'm excited. Do you know? Have you got a timeline on when you're hoping to release it?
I hope to have it for next September.
Oh wow, exciting!
Yeah, so it's literally just finished the little bits that I want to do in this, put it up where I want to have it on BorrowBox or whatever, and get straight into it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you've got your finger in lots of pies, so to speak. You also had experience as well with the Carberry Players drama group. So you dabble in acting as well.
Yeah.
How was that?
Absolutely loved. We did the comedy play last year. I absolutely loved it last year. The other year was my first year to do it, and I was doing small skits, but I hadn't a clue. But this year we had great management and everything, and it went really, really well. It's great. It's just gets you through the winter months. It's a bunch of people. It's great fun, and on the night anything can happen, and you just get up and you keep going. I've learned that. People miss a line and you were meant to say something and they forgot, or but the show goes on. We do 3 nights at a time. We'll do another one now shortly. Yeah. So this will be my 3rd attempt at it, and really enjoyed last year. It was very good, yeah.
Very good. Do you ever see yourself writing a play?
Yes, I've already written the play. It's called Table Therapy.
Oh wow, very good.
But I don't know how good or bad it is because I haven't got the experience of. I know a few people that write plays. But yeah, I have written a play. And it's a bunch of women at a table, and they meet every lunch hour in a work environment, and what happens at the table stays at the table. And yeah, it's funny. I don't know whether it'll ever come to anything, but yeah.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah. It sounds funny anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe who knows? Maybe the Carberry players will host it one day. I mean, you could
You
share.
never know.
You never
You never
know.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, just out of interest, Carberry, so that's in Kildare. Wouldn't happen to know a Jared Herbert, would you, by any chance?
I don't know. I'm living in Enfield, and I thought they were in Carberry, but they're actually, well, Edenderry is where we do a lot of stuff. But I have a
Yeah,
daughter living in Carberry and a daughter living in Edenderry, so I'm living in Enfield, so we're all in the one
yeah.
area. I just tried it, dabbled. I thought I'd help them with administration.
Oh, right.
No, that
Okay.
didn't happen. So yeah,
Yeah, sorry,
didn't
I only
lost.
asked because Jared Herbert, he was an English teacher of mine. He was a very inspiring English teacher, and he lives in Carberry. Um,
Yeah,
so maybe he's as an English teacher would have shown an interest in the local drama group. Um, yeah, well, another thing I wanted to ask as well because I noticed there's a poem dedicated to Seamus in this collection,
yeah.
Mancini, and there's no doubt I'm sure he's one of your influences. But
I met Marie Heaney,
his wife.
um, his wife, at an event in Dunleary, Murder One event in Dunleary, because I'm involved with Vanessa Fox O'Loughlin as well, Writers Inc.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
a member of that group as well. And she knew me from Listowel because I had wrote, I could not believe it. And we look very alike actually. And she introduced herself to me, and I'd wrote a poem called McGrath's Army in Listowel, and it ended up in the newspapers. There was a lot going on about that. Um, Basically, very quickly, what they did was they changed the whole layout of Writers' Week one year, and they did away with a load of the regular stuff that we did, like reading poetry at the castle and all that. And it really upset everybody, and lots of people didn't turn up, and they boycotted everything. So we all got this text, and it said, 3 o'clock at the castle, bring a poem. So there was this rumor going around. So I wrote a poem called McGrath's Army about it, and 50 of us came together that day. We all wrote poems, and we put on the event that had been cancelled. We actually just went and did it, and the newspapers were there. And so anyway, long story, she knew me from that. She knew about the poem McGrath's Army, and she said it to me when I met her, and I got to talk to her. And yeah, I got to talk, and she asked me to send her the poem
Yeah.
that I wrote about him. So it was his 10th anniversary, and I absolutely love Seamus Heaney's poetry. Absolutely love it. But she writes as well, she was telling me. And he just got all the limelight and she didn't.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what
Perhaps
happens.
perhaps you'd like to read McGrath's Army from the
Well,
collection.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not sure what page it is.
Where is it now? Sorry about this. I wasn't
Yeah.
prepared as much as I should have. Can
It's
you
not
see
a
it there?
it's not a Decades tribute, is it? Page 100.
No, that's Seamus Heaney's one. McGrath's Army. Can you see it there?
Oh, I do. Alan, yeah, 113.
113, is it?
Yeah, should be.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Ballad of McGrath's Army.
Yeah. Okay. So John McGrath has been comparing this event for years. He's a poet as well. He's well published. He actually launched Unveiled for me in Listowel. So I knew John quite well, and so this rumor went around. So I wrote this poem called Ballad of McGrath's Army. In Listowel's castle, rebellion brewed. McGrath's army silently arrived. Word spread like wildfire through the town. Poets and writers ready to astound. In Writers' Week's name, they took their place, united by a shared passion, born from dreams of Keane and McMahon, to celebrate the power of the poem. With steadfast purpose, they marched ahead to honour Listowel's literary tread. The castle steps, a symbol strong, bearing witness as they righted the wrong. On that summer day, 50 souls arose, each with words their hearts composed. With paper-clad verses, they took the stage, a rebellion of voices in impassioned outrage. No longer bound by convention's hold, they sought to create, to be bold. Straw hats adorned heads in the blazing sun, a unified front, the battle had begun. McGrath's army, an army of words, the voices like thunder, sharp as swords, to find souls breaking through the norm, leaving an indelible mark, the literary storm. In Listowel's rebellion, the spirits thrived. The reasons it started, the founders drive. 50 years of success, a testament true to the resilience of the writer's crew. So let the tale of McGuire's army resound in Listowel's history, forever renowned. A rebellion of art, of stories untold, Writers' Week spirit, forever bold. And we now have Writers' Week back to the way it was. It took a couple of years to get it back on track. So it's now back. Yeah. But it completely changed overnight after 50 years. I'm going to read that little one, if you don't mind, of Because I Met Marie, and it's only very, very short, the one of Seamus Heaney.
Oh, the tribute, yeah, to Seamus.
Yeah, it's only very small. He was 10 years dead, and I just wanted to do a little.
You page 100, that poem.
Yeah, I have it. Seamus Heaney, A Decade's Tribute. In fields of words and verses pure, a poet's legacy shall endure. Seamus Heaney, wise and free, a decade gone, yet still with me. His pen a spade unearthed the past, in lines of beauty, memories cast. 10 years have passed, his light still gleams, in rivers of thought, in woven dreams. Through bog and blade he found his way, his words a bridge to yesterday. With ink and heart he forged a trail, the master's words would forever prevail.
Lovely. He poet that we published, Andy Porter, he's reading he bought the letters of Seamus Heaney there recently, and he's been reading through them, but he said and critics have acknowledged, because like he seemed like a nice man on the surface, but there's like, oh, I wonder what he's like behind the scenes. But through his letters, he actually was a lovely man. Like, yeah. He always made the effort to reply to people, and he'd be very apologetic if they'd send him something and he hadn't got back to them in a while, and that kind of thing. And yeah, he was and
he's very connected through earth and soil, and things that I wouldn't have known an awful lot about. It kind of brought me back in time to years ago, I suppose, before we had all the different things that we have now.
Yeah.
But he's very rooted in the earth and the soil and the.
Would he be your biggest influence then?
I have lots of them. Van Boland, Patrick, or what's his name? Yeah, Casey, Samuel Beckett. I find myself studying them nearly at this stage.
Yeah.
So I read an awful lot of poets from all over the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's about 12 really good Irish poets that I have on a calendar, and I go in every now and again, different months for their birthdays, and I read little bits about them, the month that's their birthday. Yeah.
Well, it's the best way to be immersed in poetry, But anyway, Sandra, we're coming up to we've only 2 minutes left. It's been great having you on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to seeing Daniel, and who knows, we might even see a production of Tables Therapy at some point.
I hope not.
Hope not, yeah. But yeah, no, it's been great to have you. And,
thank you very much. Yeah.
Really looking forward to future works.
All right. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. And I've been watching you, and you're really going from strength to strength. And the best of luck with Luain Press, because they're doing brilliant.
Cheers.
And I might see you around the place. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.